Okay, this video is for my video production guys who have already gone into this week's week 8 and done the download of the media for the car chase that we're going to be editing. So just a quick review. I've tried to lay out this module in order. This is kind of the layout for the week. We had our meeting yesterday. This is downloading the media. This is quick review of the power of editing. Your goal is to do a better job than the example that was given. You can add some additional sound effects or whatever you want to do to improve it. This is a sample of what the footage could look like. I highly recommend watching this to get an idea what the chase scene could look like. And then in here, I plan on adding this video that we're working on right now to this group. The tutorials that are built into Adobe are really great. Sometimes they're a little overwhelming. Which one do I watch? So that's the reason I wanted to get going with this video to help you kind of get a jump start on this project. So I'm in Adobe Premiere. I'm going to start a new project, and we'll call it Dairy Car Chase. And we're going to browse, and hopefully you have a folder on your desktop with the car chase stuff, and I'm going to put it right in there. Whoops, and put it in the same folder as my media. Okay, I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to bring us into our panel. Now this, as I mentioned the first time we opened this software, this can be a bit overwhelming. There are lots of different tabs in here and lots of different ways to configure this workspace. If you get lost, you can always go back to workspace and go to reset to the saved layout, which is the default layout here. You can also edit this any way you want. So down here, this is where we're going to start putting our media that we're going to use to build our timeline. So I double click on this, and because I saved this project in the same folder as all my footage, it brought me right here. I'm going to grab all this stuff. If you didn't save yours here, you're going to have to obviously find where you put your footage and then place it in. I'm going to take it all at once and put it all in here. Now you can see that I've got a combination of, and we can resize this a little bit and take a look at this. You can view this as a list view if you want. You can see that this is just audio tracks and these are the video tracks. You can view it as thumbnails, however you'd like to do this. Now a lot of folks, you can preview simply by hovering over this. I'm not clicking anything. I'm just literally taking my pointer and dragging across here. Go over this one. It's going to give me some previews of this, and you'll see that these clips are really more than one shot. So there's no reason you can't use these clips multiple times, and I certainly don't think you want to use them all, as one clip. I certainly think you want to break it up. All right, so let's take a look at this clip. This is a great example for an example. So if we're taking a look at this clip, if we double click on it, it comes up in our preview here, and this is another way for us to kind of get a feel for what's included in this clip. So in my opinion, that shot could be used in an entirely different time than that shot. Likewise, we've got the foot on the pedal shot, so maybe we incorporate that with some of the sound. If you watch the example that I gave you, and if you take a look at some of the sound you have, you might find that some of these things go better together. All right, so let's just say and there's a lot of ways to work. You can set ins and outs here. You can edit it on the timeline. I'm going to do it on the timeline because that's probably what you guys are most familiar with. So I'm going to grab this. I don't know if I can grab it from here and place it on the timeline. Yeah. All right. So this is all the close-up shots, and you know, maybe we're going to start with a close-up. All right. And maybe we want to start not with her driving, but let's see what we have. Let's take a look. Okay, so we got some footage on the timeline, and let's say, I don't know, you want to use this close-up of the foot on the, well, it's probably on the brake right now, but we can make it look like it's on the gas pedal. Now, you don't want to use all of this, and we could just crop all of this away by dragging this in like this. If I have my pointer tool, I can come in here and just drag all this and say we want to start there. But now we've got the rest of this clip here. Okay, but if we do that, then we're going to kind of maybe forget about that footage, and we want this footage for use somewhere else. So instead, we can get our playhead to where we want it, and remember that we can move this way. You can use the arrow keys. You can click and drag to get where you want to be. Find control with the arrow keys or with this. Whoops. Oh, now I goofed up. Get back to that foot shot here. Where was that? Somewhere. There it is. All right, so arrow keys again, or small steps back. So let's say this is where we wanted to start our footage. The two tools that I use most often on the timeline are the selection tool and the razor tool. So I'm going to grab the razor. I'm going to put it right over the playhead because that's where I want to make a cut. And now notice that if I go back to my selection tool, I now have taken this and turned it into two different clips. All right, so I can take this one and just move it someplace else temporarily. Take this guy, drag it to the start of my timeline, and let's say that's where I wanted to start. Go through. Okay, so now we can take a quick peek at this, and we might say we really only want the first few seconds of this, and remember that the audio we can turn off if we'd like. Whoops, let me just turn this playhead up a little bit. So take a look at it, see what we have. Maybe that's right where you want to cut out. So again, you can use this and say, I want to use this footage where she's stepping on the gas to right there. So it's just a really brief clip. Okay, we can cut it off right there if we want to, by just coming in here and chopping that out as well. All right, so let's take a look at some other items that we might want to do. Remember to always go back to your selection tool, by the way. You can get yourself into trouble here if you leave it on the cut tool. So I'm just going to put that over there for a moment. I'm looking at this scene, and I kind of like this scene. Go to pull this in, it's giving me a error here, so I want to make sure I've got video selected and then pull it in, and then it will show up. I make sure you're on the track that you want to put it on. So let's just take a quick look at that footage, and again, I don't want all of it. Maybe I want starting right there. All right, so pull this up, move forward a little bit, and you'll notice that this person who shot this was like driving slower than the speed limit, which if you play it, doesn't make for an impressive car scene. Look how slow that building is going by. That is not, that's not Hollywood. So let's cheat a little bit. What we're going to do here is we are going to right click on this clip. Oops. Hit escape for a moment, click on here, right click, and we're going to go up to speed. Here it is. So right here we can take a look at speed and duration, and I want to make her go 5 times faster than she's going. So 500%. Now it's going to obviously shorten the length of this clip, but let's just see what it looks like now if we were to play that. So now it looks like we've got a little bit of excitement going on, and we've got a real chase scene. You want to be careful though, because if you choose some footage that's got people walking in the background, or somebody in another car, that might take away from the effect. But for what we're looking at right there, we could easily up the speed by 500% and just have a short clip that's a little bit more exciting, and we'll add some exciting music to that as well. So I'm going to call that